Afternoon to all. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam, sir.
Salam, sir.
Good
Okay.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Before we begin the class, to all the Muslim, we begin by reciting the Al-Fatihah and the Salawat first. Fatihah. Okay, Nur Nabilah ada? Nur Nabilah? Nur Nabilah?
Ya, saya.
Mana awak tengok? Tengok video?
Saya ada.
Buka video?
Ya, saya, sir.
Ada video dah buka dah?
Ada. Dah buka. Sekejap, nampak tak?
Tak keluar lagi gambar.
Okey.
Awak dalam kereta ke?
Saya dalam kereta. Saya dengan mak saya kat luar. Tengah nak pergi hospital.
Pasal apa? Kenapa?
Ada appointment sikit ada dengan mak saya.
Habis boleh kelas boleh attend ke?
Saya attend je lah. Saya dengar je lah. Lecture.
Siapa saya attend
okay.
awak
Okey. Terima kasih.
Sama. Alright, so we continue our class. Okay, the last class we go detail on the demurrage and detentions, what it's all about. So since there's some of you asked about it, so I need to explain clearly. Hopefully you are clear about detentions and demurrage. Now we continue about the chartering. So we stop at the contract of affreightment in the last slide after last week lah. Okay. Contract of affreightment ni is a contract of carrying cargoes between the charterer and the ship owner. Alright. Under this agreement, the charterer is obligated to pay the freight rates whether the goods are ready for shipment or not. So once the charterer is agreed on the to go contract on affreightment, remember that in the previous slide, there is GenCon 1994, right? NYPE, that one is the contract agreement document by BIMCO on between the charterer and the owner. Later, I will show you the sample of the contract of affreightment, the chartering contract, right? Okay. So under this agreement, contract of affreightment, the charterer is obligated to pay the agreed rates of freight rates whether or not the goods are ready for shipment. Why? Because when the caterer engage between caterer and owner, ship owner carrier on this contract agreement, if the caterer doesn't have, I mean, certainly the caterer didn't have didn't have the cargo to use to be transported by the carrier. But once you have gone through ataupun you have signed the agreement, the contract, the caterer need to pay, although the goods are not ready yet, or the goods are not what according to the agreed amount. So they must pay based on the contract, right? This I think you all learn about contract law. Ada belajar tak contract law? Ada? Ataupun carriage of goods law? Ada?
Ada, sir.
Ada so that one is irrelevant with chartering lah. Mostly is chartering lah and also the P&I. The protection and indemnity apa nama ni law and insurance. What are the form of contract agreement? Mainly the two forms, the bill of lading and charter party. Right? Right. What is the difference between charter party and contract of agreement? Charter party usually they charter the whole ships, full reach of the ship. Usually, right? They charter the whole ship. For contract of agreement, usually deals with not the whole ships, a part of the ship only. Meaning that one carrier can carry two owners or three owners. The three owner lah. One carrier can carry two charterers cargo or three charterers cargo. For that matter, usually they use contract of agreement lah. Right? Kalau charter party, based on both are based on discussion and terms and condition will be based on mutual discussion. But for charter party, usually they charter the whole ship, right? The whole ship. For contract agreement, the carrier, one carrier carry more than one charterer. So the term and condition to usually are same based on the charter lah. Based on the charterer and the owner or the carrier the mutual discussion lah. Right? But mostly between charterer one, and charterer two or charterer three, mostly the terms and conditions are the same more or less. Right? But for the full ship charter, that one usually it's be tailor-made to the charterer's requirement. The carrier will try to fulfill every requirement that been requested by the charterer, by the charter parties. So these are the difference a little bit. All right. Charter party contract by which the owner of ship lets it to other for use in transporting a cargo. That's charter party lah. Right. The ship owner continues to control the navigation and management of the vessel, but its carrying capacity is engaged by the charterer. These are what you mean by charter party. The charterer apa nama ni control. I mean decide on the amount of cargo they want to carry, but the navigation and management of the ship still under the carrier lah. Right? This is what you mean by charter party. Usually the charter party is the charterer that charter all the whole ship, right? Meaning that if you can charter the whole ship, you are big company lah. That you own the ships, you own all the cargos, right? Sometimes the shipper itself is a charterer, right? You know what I mean? The shipper is a charterer. Like for example, I think I told in the last week in class, forwarding agents. Sometimes the forwarding agents have a lot of clients, a lot of clients, big clients to carry the cargo. This for the agent. These are the shipper lah. The shipper. The shipper go for discussion ataupun contract with what the carrier, saying that we have all these customers with us. So some of the customers want that this is the requirement, all this thing lah. So the carrier still can will consider it because of the shipper provide the what provide the business for them, big business, big carrying, meaning that they provide all the cargoes for them for the ship. So the shippers usually they charter a ships to carry all the cargoes, belong to many owners. This one the cargo owner is not the charterer. They use the shippers. They use shippers to mobilize the cargo. And the shippers, because of the many owners that they use the shipper, and the shipper business is very big, meaning that the cargo size they want to carry is very big, so they can deal directly with the carrier that asking to carry all the cargoes from them. And that also happened, and that also a charter party. So the shipper is a charter party lah. Right. This one, there is some what difference in terms of bill of lading. So the bill of lading will be included the shippers, the owner, and the carrier. Right. If the cargo is the owner own direct, so they also can charter a ship, no problem. But the bill of lading is different. The bill of lading is differently done between owner of the cargo and also between the shipper of the cargo. So these are differences in terms of bill of lading, the documentation inside it. If the shipper is different, if you are owner is different statement in the bill of lading, but the carrier is the same lah, right? So we go for the time charter. So what is a time charter? A time charter is a time-bound agreement as opposed to a voyage charter. Voyage is based on a voyage, based on journey, one journey or subsequent journey, right? Journey based on journey. So this one based on time, right? A time charter, as the name says, is the agreement between the carrier and the charterer were bound by the time frame, right? The ship owner leases a vessel to a charterer for a fixed period of time, time frame, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, right? Charterer are free to sail to any port and transport any cargo, subject to the legal regulations and also subject to the terms mutual agreement between both parties, the carrier and the charterer. Right? Cumanya for time chartering, they have stipulated a definite time frame, either 1 month, 2 months, to definitely 1 year, but every month, right? They need to change everything, the journey, whatsoever. But they can do that because they have charted the whole year. Wherever they want to go, whatever they want to carry, as long as it's legal, they can proceed, right? But the management of the ships still by the owner for time charter lah, right? Time charter. The ship navigated, the management of the ships, operation of the ships, still under the owner, the carrier lah. But for the cargo wise, insurance of cargo, everything, everything is being covered by the charterer, right? So these are the difference between time and voyage. Charterer control ships. Charterer control the ship meaning that they can go anywhere they want. Meaning they can request the captain to go anywhere that they want to send the cargo to. Anywhere, and what are any cargo type, it depends on the agreement, and also it depends on the legality, right? But once you charter it, they are free to go, meaning they control the ship, where to go lah. Not the ship control it. The ship control in terms of navigation and seaworthiness. The what seaworthiness of the ship. Seaworthiness ni maksudnya bahasa Melayunya keboleh belayaran. Keboleh belayaran kapal tu, sepanjang tempoh perjanjian tersebut. The seaworthiness conditions must be optimum for the whole terms of the agreement of the chartering time lah. Okay, that is the responsible of the owner, right? The maintenance also still responsible of the owner for time charter, right? Maintenance, seaworthiness, still the owner jurisdiction or the owner responsible. But in terms of bunker cost, supplying cost, supplying meaning that the food for the sailors and the crew under the charterer, because the charterer charter the ship, they must cover the cost of bunker and also the cost of supplying food, everything for the charter crew, because they control the ships in terms of where to go. Definitely they will bear the bunker cost. Takkanlah you usah pergi pelabuhan ni, pergi pelabuhan tu, and then the owner, the carrier bear the bunker cost. Cannot lah. The carrier only responsible on the maintenance and also on the seaworthiness of the ship. Others is the charterer responsibility in terms of bunker and other costs, variable costs, not fixed costs. Like this, like for example, if the owner responsible for the maintenance, that is fixed cost, maintenance and also the seaworthiness of the ships. But the variable cost is under the charterer punya jurisdiction, charterer punya responsible, because they will control the journey of the ship. Where is the destination, the next destination, where? So once they agree upon the agreement, they must bear the cost of bunker lah, right? I can spend anywhere from days to years, time charter. This is a long-term agreement that works on a single rate of payment known as the freight rate. So due to the increase of freight rate among the liners, right? Liners is a common carrier. Among the liners, the freight rate is getting higher, and even now is threefold higher than before the pandemic, right? So getting higher, and then it's a burden to the owner of the cargo. So many owner of cargoes through their shippers, they are looking for a cheaper way of mobility, so they go for tram shipping. They go for chartering services, because chartering services, especially you go for a long-term agreement, you can have a fixed rate, single rate. The rate that doesn't change, like doesn't fluctuate much like the liners. Liners rate memang fluctuate according to the situation. If the pandemic worsen and anything default ataupun any disruptions in the supply chain, they will go up crazily. But for tram, you have plan, you have to agree upon before you engage. So once you agree upon, you have all the stakeholders have to look on this matter on what are the challenges ahead. If you say you want to charter for 2 years, so they look forward in 2 years, and then they suggest a fixed rate for the whole 2 years. So Even in 2 years' time, the pandemic still going on and still lockdowns happening. But once the agreement being made, you must follow the agreement rates. So it's cheaper for the shippers and also for the owner of the cargo. Understand? These are the situation why people are looking for tram as the alternative for liners due to the supply chain disruption, and due to that the freight rates had increased a lot, threefold meaning that 3 kali ganda naik daripada 9,000 from 10,000 per container from east to west. Now it goes to 27,000 per container. Just imagine, right? The cost that the shipper or the owner of the cargo need to bear. And that's why tram service is been a sort of alternative for them to go through on agreement with the carrier. And there's many also carrier that other than bulk cargo, there are many carriers that go for tram shipping services that carry container. Ada juga banyak juga ships yang carrying container, but it's a tram. It's a chartering. It's a charter. Provide charter service. They are not common carrier. They are not liners. So ada memang banyak ship container ships that can carry containers, but the mode of operation is not liner, it's a tram, right? Okay, so charterer must provide the planned route to the owner in advance, meaning that where to go, you control the ship, where to go, the charterer need to provide the planned journey or planned route to the owners in advance, so they can prepare for operation site. The payment is calculated on per day basis with penalties added at a later time, meaning that the rates is one rate but based on daily basis. Penalties happen because of the factors that hinders the journey smoothness. Maksudnya the journey not been delivered, not been executed well, then they have process for penalties, right? This is not demolition of detention, and this is about the contract, the charters agreement. Like I told just now, the cost of fuel and others provision are to be covered by the charterer because they decide where to go. They cover, they bear the bunker cost and other costs related to the journey, but the maintenance will still under the owner, right? So this is time charter. Any question on the time charter? Any question?
No, sir. Sir.
Yeah. Any question? Okay. No question? Are you still there or? I check a few names. Allow me to check a few names. Solehah Zamri. Ada tak? Ada?
Ada?
Tengok video.
Oh, kejap.
Okay. Apa lagi? Sobana Sarihat.
Yes, sir. Ada, sir.
Sarhat ke Sarihat Ya,
Sarhat.
Sarhat
Yes.
Where's the video? Sobana and Solehah.
Kejap.
At the same time, I get to know your face. Saya tak payah kenal kan. Ada video?
Ada, sir.
Sabana and
Yes, sir.
Soleha. Tengok mana? Sabana. Wait ni Soleha. Okey, nampak tak? Sabana gelap pun tak nampak.
Either on, sir.
Belum lagi tak masuk lagi. You are invisible. Soleha faham tak? Soleha? Faham betul? Betul ni?
Faham.
Ni Sabana tak keluar lagi. Invisible lah ni. Invisible. Right? Adam Azroy. Ada tak?
Saya sir
Faham tak?
faham invisible.
Tak ada dah faham catering lah. Invisible berapa?
Oh. Faham insyaAllah.
Ni Sabana ni tak keluar lagi dah. Gelap je. Invisible kot.
Terus Aida buka maybe webcam problem kot. But Aida on saya punya kamera.
Saya nak tanya sikit Sabana boleh tak?
Yes, sir. Can.
You from where?
From Rawang.
Rawang.
Yes.
You Malay or what?
Indian, sir.
Indian also, that's why. Your name Sabana I thought suara macam Melayu kan. Okay, never mind. How's you di Bali, okay?
Yeah, so far good, sir.
Anything for me?
Where are you from, sir? Kedah, is it?
Never mind. Just ground you,
Well, sir, if you want, I can send you Morocco.
Never mind. It's okay. Okay.
Okay, sir.
You understand what is chattering until now? Voyage
Yes, sir,
chattering
understood.
and time chattering. And now the last one is about bareboat chattering. Mana? Okay. Bareboat chattering. So bareboat chatter or demise chatter. Demise ni macam demise masuk kematian maksudnya the owner no more. The owner no more authorities on the ship, on the carrier. Okay. Masuk demise. Alright. Arrangement for the chartering or hiring of ships. The act is commonly known as bareboating or bareboat charter. Bareboat charter, bareboat meaning that the boat is no more with the owner. Legal differences between a bareboat charter and other types of charter arrangement commonly called time and voyage charters. There are legal differences. There are some legal differences. They are not the same. A bareboat charter is the ultimate chartering process. Ultimate chartering type, meaning that the charterers holds the ships totally. All right. So let us know. Let us go through. Let us go through what are the legal differences. Right. Okay. For voyage or time charter, the charterers charter the ship or part of the ship. Part ini contract of agreement just now lah. Contract of agreement. So dalam satu kapal tu ada a few owner of the cargo. Right. So in voyage and or time charter, the charterer charters the ship or part of it for a particular voyage or a set of period time. These are the first difference is compared to as compared to bareboat, time and voyage charter. The charterer charter the ship based on the period or based on a journey, voyage or time. Secondly, the charterer direct where the ship will go, but the owner of the ship retain possession of the ship through the operation of the ship, crew and also employment. The captain, everything they decide. They control it. The ship, although the charterer have the authority to control the ship in terms of where to go, but the operation of the ship is still managed by the ship, the owner. Right? That is the second legal differences. Right? The third one is opposite. The bareboat or demise charter, the owner gives possessions of the ships to the charterer, and the charterer hires its own master. And so the owner of the ships, the carrier, the owner of the ships, lease totally all the ships to them, to the charterers. That's why they call it bareboat, whereby demise meaning that the owner has no authority at all on his ships. Although the ship is belong to them, but once they embark on a bareboat chartering ataupun bareboat or demise charter, they give as though like they give the whole ship to the charterer, and the charterer owns the ship. Own in terms of what? They control everything from the selections of the management operation of the ships, the manpower, and also everything about the ships. Itu yang katakan bareboat. So the owner is bare. You know bare, nothing to left, right? Demise lah, as though as the owner like the pass away kan. The ship belong to a new owner, as though like that lah. But actually it's a charter party. It's a type of chartering, a bareboat, right? Okay, faham eh? So it's totally opposite of the other two chartering type, right? Okay. In the bareboat charter, no administrations or technical maintenance is included as part of the agreement. Tak adalah because the boat has been assigned totally to the charterer. So no more agreement. The agreement is the owner of the ship give chartered or lease the ship totally to the charterer. So charterer handle everything, maintenance, everything. Okay. The charterer obtains possession and full control of the vessels, along with the legal and financial responsibility for it. So memang tak ada macam owner tak ada apa lah. Itu yang katakan maksud bare. Bare maksudnya tak ada apa lah. Kan? Nothing left for the owner. Or demise. As though like the owner has passed away. Dah demise kan? Tapi still the owner own the ship, but due to the agreement between the owner and the charterer, selecting a bareboat chartering, so the owner surrender everything, the ship totally to the charterer, and the charterer control everything from A to Z, right? As though as to the extent that there's no administrations and technical maintenance agreement about it between two parties. Why? Because the agreement just involve about surrendering, leasing the ships totally to the charterer. Right? That is the mean by bareboat or demise. Charterer pays all for all operating expenses, fuel, crew, port expenses, everything, even the insurance itself. And how insurance? You know PNI, no? Who knows what is PNI? Who knows what is PNI? Anybody want to answer it? Anybody want to answer?
So Incoterm ke? Bahan tak sure.
PNI tu bukan Incoterms.
Protection and indemnity insurance.
Dia under insurance. It's about protection. Siapa cakap ni? Siapa nama dia ni? Apa
Fatin.
nama? Fatin Fatin budak logistik ke budak ni? Budak risk management.
Tak. Saya log trends.
Bagus lah kita tahu kan.
Google.
Right? Oh, you Google Oh, tak ci Okay. Private apa? Protection and indemnity right. That is about insurance. Do you remember the case whereby Evergreen been stuck at the Suez Canal, right? They stuck at the Suez Canal and they block the whole canal from other users to use it. So because of them, the whole supply chain in the world disrupted for 1 week. And the cost is billions of US dollar. Right? Billions of US dollar. So, when the authority of the canal solved the matter by able to float the ships and then to put the ship on track again, the owner doesn't allow the ship to go freely yet. They need to discuss the costs incurred due to the process of clearing the ships. And then the cost incurred by the exporters or importers that use the ship. How to indemnify them. Indemnify ni maksudnya, indemnity ni maksudnya ganti rugi lah. Ganti rugi. It's a billion, the ship's cargo value is billion of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. So who pay the cost? That's why shipping insurance usually handled by big companies only. Small companies like Great Eastern cannot go, right? They are Lloyd's of London, Nippon Insurance, Maritime Insurance, a big company, because the amount that they insured is so great. So anything happen, the insurance company will bear the cost. But in shipping, no insurance can afford to cover the total. No insurance is afford to indemnify the total cost of the cargoes or the ships because too great. Dia ada proses pula. Pasal dia panggil apa nama proses? Dia panggil lupa. General apa dah? Dia umumkan. Bukan diumumkan maksudnya dinyatakan, dia generalizekan. The total cost is like this. To identify. Dia tak value every each of the cargo value, no. They generalize the cost to a certain amount that agreed upon. So that is the cost that the insurance need to indemnify. Understand? So, and mind you, there are many ships around the world that mobilize cargo without the insurance. It's wrong. Why? If anything happened to the cargo, who want to bear the cost of indemnifications? But sometimes it's a mutual agreement between the exporter and the importers and the carrier. Because if you go for insurance, it's higher cost to pay for the insurance. This is not like insurance you buy tickets for flight, right? Dalam tiket flight pun dia ada kan, dia request dia nak beli insurance ke tidak kan. Kalau tak nak kan, dia boleh add up. And that one is not much, right? Tapi RM10 juga lah kan. Ini Asia ke ataupun mana-mana airline, dia ask for insurance. And that one is maybe a few dollars ataupun $100 extra, right? For coverage if anything happen. But most of the passengers, they prefer not to pay for the insurance because they want to go a cheaper price. Because the insurance for bag, for example, for baggage, everything, and is not compulsory, right? Same like freight. Some ships they don't go for insurance because expensive, but they are required. If they are required to, but still they ignore, they need to have a mutual agreement between the consignor and the carrier, or even consignee. Right? They cannot simply ignore the rules of law. But if they all are agreed upon, also don't need to don't want to cover insurance, so less rates, the cost is lesser. So they want to go, they want to gamble. So anything happen, they will silent lah. They tak boleh bising lah because no insurance. Right. But they will suffer the losses. Many it's happened in many ships now, still going on, but nobody knows. Alright. Tapi kalau you deal with a legitimate process, you need to have insurance. Why? Because you go into the custom clearance. Custom clearance, or you go to third party logistic, they go by book, so they must pay insurance. That's why you need to pay insurance. Why people try to avoid insurance? Because first it's expensive. Secondly is they said about mishaps or unfortunate things rarely happen. Like dalam 100 case, dalam 100 journey, 1000 journey, only one case happen mishap atau unfortunate things. So it's very rare. So why need insurance? And tapi for legitimate process, you need to have insurance to protect all the stakeholders in the process of mobilizations. Okay. That is meant by BNI and health insurance. Basically, in maritime, there's many things that you need to know. The insurance, the law of carriage, good and carriage, and you need to know law of contract law. You need to know. So it's like doing business now. You need to know many things. Any question? Any question you want to ask? Okay, no more question. Good. So we understand the difference between the charter parties. It's very interesting. Basically, it will help you to do your work as a logistician well because you understand the process, right? Although maybe you are not in charge of it, because most of the company have assigned third-party people to do it, but at least you know how the process is going on. And that is what you should know because you are trained to be the middle level management, right? You need to know everything. You don't need to master it, you need to know it because when people talk about tram shipping, you know something about it and you know the important part of it. And that is how managers should be getting knowledge in order for them to help them to make decisions, and also in order for them not to be con. You know con or not? Con, C-O-N. Con ni tak ditipu lah, faham tak? By your subordinates or by your lower operation people. Sometimes the operation people, since that you are new, you are fresh graduates, they want to con you around by saying terms that you never heard before. But actually you have learned and you know about it. So they cannot con you, right? So that is the reason why managers need to be up to date in terms of knowledge. Maybe they not master the knowledge, but they know it. because people cannot condemn, right? So that's the thing, lah. So this the cost distribution of charter party. The yellow one is ship owner cost. The pastel brown is charter cost. You see, if bareboat capital deposit the payment of loan, I mean buying the ships, owning the ships or buying the ships, bear by the owner, right? But others bear by the charterer. That is bareboat. Remember I told you bareboat and the ship, the owner is still the owner is still own the ship. But when they go for bareboat charter, they transfer the operation of the ship, everything, operating, maintenance, everything to the charterer. But the ship is still owned by them. Okay, the process, the transaction is as though like they surrender the ship to the new owner, the charterer, and the charterer handle everything, and the owner just sit at home and relax, as though that they don't bother about the ship anymore. But by right, they still own the ship. That is why they call bareboat. No more, nothing, no more with the ships. They cannot control the ship anymore because they have leased the ship to the charterer, right? Right. So these are the meaning of bareboat and the cost structure of the bareboat agreement. Only the owner of the ship only bear the cost of buying the ship only, owning the ships. But in terms of operating the ships, day-to-day basis or whatever, been transferred to the charterer. If they choose bareboat charter agreement, right? But if you use time charter, owner punya apa interest or responsible is more than the bareboat, because the owner or the carrier owner, first of all, definitely they are going for buying the ship. Secondly, they bear the cost of operating the ship, management of the ship. They still control it. The charterer only responsible for the fuel and port dues and any cost related to the journey, lah, to the ports, journey and ports of call, any cost for that. But other than that, maintenance, seaworthiness, everything still be responsible by the owner. Other than buying the ship lah, buying the ship definitely lah kan, owner yang buy kan. Faham So these are the arrangement of cost for time charter. For voyage charter, the charterer just pay the freight rates for the agreement of voyage charter, but other costs from buying the ships, from operating the ships, from managing the voyage of the ships, are still under the owner. Everything is under the owner. The charterer only pays for the mobilization of the cargo through voyage charter, and you just pay the freight rates only. Others still the owner with the responsibility totally lah. Okay, you understand not? Any question? Okay. All right. I have a video on. We should have a sessions. Like for example, go for a visit to the port, right? Now we go and visit what they call it, ships, container ships. What actually happened in the ships during a journey? Nowadays, you all are lucky because with the new technology of education, you don't need to go to the port or to the ship to observe. You just can stay in your room but you observe what is happening on the ship. Right? It's not like not so thrilling or exciting like going there, be on the ship, but at least you know the real life of the ships inside the container ship, right? So by not going ataupun by not embarking on the ship, but you still can learn about a ship itself by using videos like YouTube or whatever, right? So it's important for you to watch the video and immerse yourself as though that you are at the ship, observing the ship. So is how people crew live on the ship. It's not easy, right? Living in a ship because you need to live in the small places, small compartment places, your room, your toilets, your dining room, all small compartments. It's because you're in a ship. You're not in a cruise ship. You're in a cargo ship. So they utilize most of the spaces for cargo. The more cargo they carry, the more money they get. Right? The more crew they carry, the less money they get. The more cost they will incur. So they want to exploit as much as possible the small amount of crew with the big ships, so that they can earn more from the ship. Right? So this link video, you observe. You should observe the what day to day operations of container ships. Right? This is not a new ship. If talking about new container ship, is much more better lah, in terms of their spaces, their kitchens, their apa nama ni, gyms. They have complete everything. They have all the amenities, but it's small size lah, compartment. Right? Can you sleep in a room without a window? Can you sleep or not? Dalam bilik yang sempit tapi tak ada tingkap. Boleh tak tidur?
No, sir.
No, tak boleh jadilah kru kan. Saya pun tak boleh, takut Claustrophobic. Maksudnya takut tempat sempit. Siapa ada claustrophobia ni tak boleh lah nak kerja tempat-tempat sempit ni kan. Tak mati kan. Mati bukan sebab apa, lemas. Sebab lemah, sebab tak tahan sempit tempat tu. You tak boleh bernafas. Bahaya claustrophobia ni. Nampak macam tak ada apa kan, tapi it's dangerous. Boleh matilah, bukan lemas kan. Siapa yang ada asma lagi teruk, boleh trigger asma ni. Kan? Sebab tu asthmatic people cannot be a diver. Because a diver ni, you need to dive and you need to wear mask for oxygen mask. Dia orang tak biasa. Dia nak free air kan, open air. Kalau mask tutup ni tak boleh. Dia semput. Boleh mati tu. Okay. Wait So while waiting, I'm embedded the link. Any question from you all? Anything about maritime you want to share? About your assignment ke? About your talk? What is the progress of the talk? Any group want to report the progress? Anybody want to share? the progress? Tak buat apa lagi? Kena buat Masa berjalan. Kalau tak buat,
Still on discussing, sir.
You want to share anything?
So far, no, sir, but can I know what kind of program that sir expected from us?
Well, you mean what I expected from you?
Yes, sir. From the program.
The program actually is about the subject matter of your syllabus, right? It's about maritime. So the talk should be addressing anything in the syllabus or anything about maritime. Okay, so you are free to to explore and discuss with the speaker. You don't want any personal matters, meaning that uh, what the speaker talk about himself. We want about maritime, right? What is if he himself work something on maritime or do something a project whatsoever, and then you explain more on the project on the maritime, right? Okay, understand?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Got it.
Because I don't want speakers. You take any speakers that when they talk about themselves, not about maritime. That one you cannot get full mark. And usually, this program, the 10 mark is free for you. Once you deliver it, appropriately deliver it, you get full mark. All participating on organizing the event, full mark lah. But if the talk actually is nothing much about maritime, a talk about himself or whatever, about him, so definitely you're gonna get 10 marks. Maybe 6 marks or 5 marks because not about maritime, right? So we want you to. The reason why I asked you to do this to enhance your knowledge on maritime, right? On maritime, okay. So by sharing, by inviting the practitioners or the professionals outside there to share their knowledge on maritime, share their experience on maritime. If they do project on maritime, share their project to the student on maritime, what they done. Right. But talking about themselves alone, the achievement or whatever, cannot lah, kan? If they talk a little bit, okay lah, no problem. But mostly maritime is okay. But mostly they talk about himself, talk about his company without referring to maritime aspects. That one, I cannot get full mark lah. Alright. So I mentioned myself, I tell myself clearly about this. Hopefully you understand. Any question, if you don't understand, you can ask me. Okay. Anything else? Anything else to talk about? To share?
Doctor, good afternoon, doctor. May I ask
Yeah.
how we will at least do how many page for assignment?
Page on assignment, your first assignment, is it?
Yeah, group assignment.
I given the technical, right? You got it or not?
I got, but no right how many page?
How many page? It actually minimum is 30 pages lah.
Minimum 30.
Mm.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, the difference can more than 70.
Come again?
Rujukan boleh lebih 70?
Oh, the more the better.
Oh, okay, thank you, doctor.
Mm. Any more on to ask?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
I want to ask about for the group assignment, the extra. We need together want to turn it in.
Abstract no need.
Extra knowledge lah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Usually, if you don't familiar with turn it in is to check your content only. Chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, your content only. Right. Your abstract, your content, table of content, no need. Your reference, no need. Right?
Okay.
Only your chapter content. Okay? That
Okay,
is
thank you.
for turn it in. For all project and same. No such thing as you put your abstract inside there. Your abstract is not counted for plagiarism. Plagiarism is only the content of your project. Okay? Understand? Can you see this?
Can, sir.
Can you see this?
Can, sir.
All right. See, this is the touring a modern day cargo ships live at sea. All right. Maritime ni ayam punya step mana kan? These are. Can you hear the voice? Can you hear the voice? You cannot hear,
Can, Doctor?
Can you hear or not?
Can.
Can hear, sir.
Can you hear the voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just the music, doctor, no voice.
Yeah, just music for you to see. You see the videos lah, music just to make you happy lah. Alright? Music just to make you happy. Just look at the video. First, you see how far this goes. This is the publisher engine control component. Navigation standard. Electronic chart. GPS. So many electronic gadgets that don't break. They're the well break. leather. Then they go to which there's what? Pilot. This is what? Captain's room. Macam hotel Second officer, second officer. Second officer, assistant engineers lah. Quite big. Sampai toilet dia tunjuk nampak. Movie locker begitu. Officer lounge. Lihat kawan-kawan. Dia tetap pegawai lain. Lain. Guru lounge ada tu. Okay, kita continue next week. So,
Doctor,
yeah.
Dr. Nizam, I have one question about the page for report because previous class, doctor said 20 page minimum for the report, but today changed 30
Oh,
page.
yeah, I mentioned it.
Because
If I-
someone have finished the report, so
If I said I mentioned earlier,